You know, normally when we film a show, we come down on the lake and we have a pretty good idea where the fish are. Today, we're just going to go looking for them. I got a map out. We're going to go down, fish some of the contributaries, and see if we can't locate some fish. If we see something that looks good, we're going to fish it. So actually what we're going to do is we're going to go on a fish hunt. I'm Hank Parker.
Also today, Hank joins wildlife conservationist Jerry Hagee for a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
You know, Jerry, when I started my show, a lot of people said, how in the world are you going to have a fishing show that's different from everybody else's? And I tell you what, I don't believe that you've ever seen a fishing show where you roast a camel. You heard that right. We're going to roast a camel. We're going to go out. We're going to break him to rye today. And yours truly is going to be the one in charge of breaking the camels. I think we're going to have a good time. It's going to be fun, exciting to say the least.
1, 2, 3, 4.
The house needs painting, the grass needs mowing. Where's he at?
Hi, this is Hank. Sorry I missed your call. Leave me your name and your number and I'll get back to you.
He's gone fishing.
This is Hank Parker's Outdoor Magazine, featuring the first sportsman to win both the Bassmasters Classic and the title Bass Angler of the Year, Hank Parker.
Here we are on the south end of the lake. This is the largest contributary on the south end of the lake. And when I'm looking for fish on a lake that I haven't established any kind of pattern, don't know where the fish are, I like to have a definite starting point. So if it's logical, based on the time of year and the water temperature and so forth, then I like to come to the very back of the creek and start. So what we'll do is we'll start out here in the back of the creek, take a spinnerbait or whatever, and work this structure and just work our way back out to the mouth till we find some fish. Everything's set up. Boy, it's a good looking day. We finally got a little break in the weather. Maybe we find these fish somewhere in this timber. It looks like this creek line is pretty well marked with the timber, so it's pretty easy to follow this creek, and we'll just go to the head till we can't go any further. Turn around and work our way back. Looks like a buzz bait or a spinnerbait. You know, I mentioned that before, and I think that's very important when you come to an area like this or any other kind of area. Select a lure that will thoroughly fish your structure. Analyze what you have, and then just select a lure and go with it from there. I think a spinnerbait with this water temperature, 57, 58 degrees, I think a spinnerbait will be a little bit more productive than the buzz bait. So I think I'll start with the spinnerbait. You know, I usually select a bait based on the water clarity and the brightness of the sun. Today, it seems like we got some cloud cover. It comes in and out. You have sun for a minute, and then you have the clouds. So we may vary our lure selection just a little bit today. You know, again, when you're fishing areas like this, there's a lot of different baits that you could select, a jig or a worm or something. But again, I like to fish a bait that I can cover some water pretty quick. And a spinnerbait, like this spinnerbait I have here, is a bait that has a pretty good sized blade on it, number 5, and I can fish it fast or drop it or fish it slow, however I want to fish it, but I can cover a lot of water with it. So that's a good bait, or a crankbait, something that you can really cover the water. I think works out better when you're hunting fish. Or should I say fish hunting. There's a fish. I don't know, a little spotted bass. He was out here in a little deeper water. Came out of forked trees. The fish was probably 15 feet deep, suspended up in the top of them. Little Kentucky. But I still don't think this is a pattern. I fished too many of these trees and not caught any more. That's the only hit I've had. You know, a lot of times you're hunting fish and you're looking for fish and you find some fish in an area, but you can't get them to do very much. You can't get them to hit, or you can't get a lot of cooperation out of them. And you end up killing the whole day by staying in that area or fooling with those few fish that you found that you can't get to hit. I think in a lot of cases like here, I don't doubt that we hadn't fished over quite a few fish, but the fish obviously weren't very aggressive and they weren't positioned to take a bait, and it was very difficult to get any fish to hit. So I think a lot of times, even though you find a few fish, it's better to abandon them and go on and see if you can't find a school of more aggressive fish or a different pattern where you can catch more fish. I'm bad to stay on some fish. My natural tendency once I find some fish is just to stay with them, but a lot of times that's proved very unproductive for me, just to stay and keep trying to catch fish that are not very aggressive.
Our fish hunt continues a little later, but next, Jerry Hagee helps Hank get over a couple of humps.
You know, I said that I'd ride him, but when I said I was going to ride him, he was laying down. I don't know if I'm going to ride him or not.
Hank, you're going to have a lot of fun on that Camel. There's nothing to breaking a Camel. We don't have any problem finding people to ride these Camels. It's just getting them back to come back to workforce the next day. But you're going to have a good, see, they're going to put this muzzle on him, and that way he can't bite. When a camel opens its mouth, Hank, I want you to remember when you're riding, it opens it about the size of a basketball. And your head will fit in there perfectly. So don't get your head down in front of his mouth or your knees.
I don't want to get behind him either. It looks like you're making a kick. Well, I've had an awful lot of practice riding camels. You know, I do that at home quite often.
The revolutionary fish formulas are used by the world's best fishermen. Enough said?
At last, the ultimate in fish finding technology, Humminbird's LCR Liquid Crystal Recorder, the depth sounder that bridges the gap between flashers and charts, combining the best features of both. Now the most advanced concepts in sonar are combined with state-of-the-art microcomputer innovations to bring boaters and fishermen more features and more fish-finding versatility than any other depth sounder on the market. LCR, the creation of a new generation from Humminbird.
There are 3 ways you can try moving closer to these fish. With a gas outboard, with a noisy electric, or with a quiet Minn Kota electric. To a fisherman, the choice is black and white. Minn Kota, the quiet power that catches fish.
You know, whether you're a tournament fisherman or a weekend angler, a good fishing partner makes all the difference. Now mine, she's a little better looking than most, but that beauty's a lot more than just skin deep. She's tough, and she's got what it takes to consistently give it her all. And she's there when I need her. Best of all, she's a Ranger.
Ranger boats. We still build them one at a time.
Take him down here and get a little windbreak, and then we'll put you up on that Camel, and you'll learn to play like you're one of our clients that come out in the summer.
Well, I originally put this goose down on because I was a little bit cold, and to stay warm, I'm going to keep it on for padding.
I think that's a good idea. Do you have any elbow pads or knee pads like in sports?
If we get down here in this canyon where it's a little bit warmer, maybe the ground won't be quite as frozen, quite as hard. Maybe it'll be a little soft
I think that's right. We're going to put you close to water in case you fall.
I hope the Camel's ready.
Oh, he's ready.
He's more ready than I am.
He's ready. But he's being very docile today.
This is incredible.
Okay.
He may be like a horse I rode when I was a kid. He looked good till I got on him.
This Camel likes you. I can tell by the way he's looking at you with his eyes. Hank, look at those eyes.
That's right. So we're going to break him where he'll be able to ride him.
We're going to make a ride camel out of this, and you can see that he's very docile. The guys aren't having any trouble controlling this camel. In fact, by this summer, we'll have him as a ride camel, right here.
So I'm going to be the man to break him to a ride.
Someone has to do it, Hank.
Well, I just want you to assure me that this is the finest camel going. You know, I use the finest boat and the finest automobile I can find. Now, is this your finest camel?
Ah, look at the fur on this sweetheart. That's what I said. Now, that is one of the finest of all camels. And see how easy he is to hold?
I don't think he likes you.
We only have 4 men holding this camel, and that's hardly any men at all. You know? And when you get up between those humps now, Hank, kind of hang on to the front hump. Don't hang on to the back hump. Okay.
All right. Let's ride the camel.
Let's get on this camel. Okay.
How do we get up there? Do you have to climb the tree?
I don't know. Does anyone know how we get on this camel? He's going to lay down for you.
Oh,
there you go. Good. There we go. See how well behaved he is?
You have to be quick to get
That's
on the
right.
camel.
Let's see what we can do here. Well, we'll boost you on. You want to boost him on this side right here.
Oh, no. Steady, boy, steady. Whoa, Luther, for sure. Hey-oh, Luther.
Okay. Now, wait a minute. We'll give you a foothold here.
I don't know about this.
Now, there you are. All right. Now, guys, take all the ropes off and turn it loose.
There's nothing to riding a camel.
Take him around. That's it.
Hi-yo.
Hank, they tell me when a camel sticks its tail straight out, it's about to go crazy. And if you look around there behind you, look at that tail.
Yeah. Tell me about it. I've heard of getting over the hump before.
Yeah. How would you like to ride that all day if you lived in the country where those come from?
I don't know about this. I tell you, you won't believe from down there he don't look that big, but from up here he looks twice as big as he really is.
Well, Rick's 6'5", and he's standing there holding a rope beside you.
You know, one thing about a horse is slick and you can bail off of him. Here, I don't think you can get off of him too quick. Yeah. It's hard to believe how firm he is. Hey, fella, we'll have none of that. I've been good to you.
Now, is that not the finest camel? Does that not match a Ranger boat?
I'm telling you what, if he was Meadow Flake, we'd have it made. The only problem is I don't know where we'd mount the troll motor.
Now, Hank, in case you don't know it, your head right now is a little over 10 feet off the ground.
And I have probably noticed that more times than you have.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot more comfortable if you had to ride an animal for a long distance. I mean, you know, no saddle or anything. It's far more comfortable than a horse. Not quite as steady. Hi, old Silver.
That's it. Put him in a little walk there.
No, keep him at a very slow pace. You know, Jerry, we don't have camels like this over in Denver, North Carolina.
You don't have many like this?
No, we hadn't had one. I've never seen one. You know, I think of a camel, I think of coming from a climate where it's hot. Why their fur is so thick for that hot climate?
Oh, yeah, of course, this is a different species of camel. This is a 2-hump vectoring camel, and they're from Mongolia. They need that. They have winters that get down to 60 below and stay there all winter. And these camels are cold weather camels. And so the 2-hump camel is real rare. In fact,
I couldn't imagine, you know, having this much fur living in the desert.
No.
It's unbelievable.
Now, these camels will even slick off in the summer. They shed their hair just like a horse does. They build up and shed. But these were on the endangered species list, Hank, and just till a year ago last October, there's less than 50 of these in the Americas.
Is that right?
Yeah, they're very rare. The 2-hump is very rare.
Oh, they're beautiful.
And they're a lot larger than the 1-hump. They're a bigger camel,
Well,
heavier.
this is the first 2-hump camel that I've actually broke to ride.
Is it really?
Yeah, that's one of my first experience with a 2-hump.
Well, you're doing real well at this, and we have 3 more, as you see, standing here. These are wild camels. These came from Canada. These, you know, this camel's pretty docile.
See, he respects me. Did you see what he did when I pointed my finger? He immediately knew that I was
He responded, and that's why I think that you probably could have something to do full-time here.
Yeah, I think I'm a natural on the 2-hump camel. The 1-hump gives me a lot more trouble than the 2-hump.
Yeah, and I've watched your fishing, and I think this is something you ought to look into seriously, these camels.
Now, wait a minute. I don't know how to take that. I have caught a few fish in the past, but times are getting lean, and maybe breaking camels to ride is my new calling.
I think that it has some merit, and you ought to give it some serious thought. In fact, this one wants to give you a kiss.
Matter of fact, I've reconsidered, and it's back to the lakes. Told you we're going fish hunting. We're still hunting.
Now don't go away. Hank will be right back.
The jigging pig and the plastic worm. You know, it's two of the most popular baits on the market today. And there's probably 100 different plastic worms and jigs available, but two of my favorite are man's auger tail, the worm that swims in the middle, the flipping waggler, a plastic worm that has more action on the fall than any bait I've ever used, and Stanley's tricolored jig trail with man's auger frog. Probably the deadliest big fish combination available. Now, I've put these lures together along with the Fenwick 20 satchel box to make them available to you on a Hank Parker Outdoor Magazine special offer. Let me show you what I put together. The Fenwick 20 has an amber lid that is see-through. You have adjustable dividers and positive drawdown latches making the box waterproof. We have two 20 packs of man's flipping wagglers, two 20 packs of FS 454 coated auger tail worms, two Stanley jigs, one with a Magnum flipping hook, the other with a lightweight casting hook for light line use, and a pack of auger frog trailers, my favorite trailer. This is the finest fishing value I know of anywhere today.
Hank's Lure Pack and Tackle Box can be yours for only $19.95 plus shipping and handling. Send check, money order, or call toll-free.
Order yours today.
Go for it with Ryobi. Tough, dependable reels for any kind of fishing. Ryobi. There's never been a better reason to go fishing.
Oh, small man. Oh, it come off. Well, there he was. Bound to be another one down there. You know, there's one there. There's got to be some more. That fish was extremely deep. I had that jig probably 30 feet deep coming off that rock pile or that point. There's another one. There you go. Those fish are deep. I mean deep. We had a little front go through last night, and I guess it, I guess that front drove those fish. Boy, they strong. They come out of that deep water and pretty. Using light line, you can't really horse them, but that's a lot of fun anyway. Kind of takes away from having to catch a giant every time. When you're using lighter line, you can have a lot of fun with those smaller fish. Those fish are deep. I let that jig fall and fall and fall and fall before they ever hit it. That fish there may have hit the jig on the way down. I was kind of throwing away from the buoy now in a lot deeper water. Off the very end of the point. What we did, we made that move and came down here and started working on this extended point. And I marked kind of the shallow end of the point and started out and didn't catch anything and moved out here deeper where it falls off, and it seems that the fish are holding deeper than what I expected. I figured they'd be right up on that point, but what they are, or what they've done, they've moved out here on the very end of it. We had a little front go through last night. Maybe they moved those fish back. I guarantee you that last fish, of course, he may have hit it on the way down, but where I cast was really deep, probably 40 feet deep, but could have picked it up on the way down. You know, when I fish structure like this, it's always easier when you put out a buoy marker. Even though you don't catch the fish right where the buoy is, you always have a point you can make reference to. It's kind of what I was doing. I keep looking at that marker, trying to line up, make sure that it's throwing back in the area where I caught the two fish. There he is another. Oh, I don't feel like I got him stuck. Oh, yeah, I do. He's just... Now that fish has got to be, those fish have got to be coming out of 40 foot of water. It's incredible. Fish are that deep. I would have never thought. Just lucky I found those fish. Normally I wouldn't even try it that deep. I just kind of pull that thing off the end and let it fall. Another deep fish. Little fella, come up here. Up here and say, ah. Well, there's a lot of difference between a smallmouth and a largemouth and a spotted bass. We hadn't even caught a largemouth today. We caught a spotted bass and a smallmouth. The coloration of a smallmouth is quite a bit different from a largemouth. You don't have the stripes that you see on the largemouth. If you keep the fish out of water for a longer period of time, you can see the stripes start to show up that go in this direction. We won't do that to him, but he is a little different. Go back home, fella. Get your uncle. Surprising, you know, when you're fishing deep as we're fishing here, these fish seem to be, again, off the end of the point, 25, 30, 40 foot deep. Surprising that they're no bigger than they are. I would be shocked to catch another one any smaller than that. I really feel like there's some good fish out here. Should be some good fish out here, you know, the way it looks. But the only thing we've hit is little fellas. The old 12 o'clock whistle blows. I think that's lunchtime. I tell you what I'm going to do. I hadn't found the concentration of fish I'm looking for yet, so I think we're going to go run by the marina, get a sandwich, maybe go up the river and see if we can't find a little dingier water and maybe catch a bigger fish. There he is. Hello, big boy. It's been a while. Take my spinnerbait. I think that these creeks that have a little bit dingier water, just kind of working on these main river creeks up here in this little color water, you can catch a few fish on spinnerbait. I think the frontal conditions that went through last night kind of got things messed up for today, and the fish are not really aggressive, and I don't think you're going to find a big concentration of fish anywhere where you're going to catch a lot of fish. But I think we've established in the last 20 or 30 minutes up here in the river in this danger of water, flipping or spinnerbait in the timber, if you just stay with it and stay consistent and fish on, you'll catch a few fish. Maybe I'll catch me another. This little bay looks pretty good to me. It's a little bit different. A little place there. There's fish come through there just running. Spinnerbait, there he is. A little better fish. God gracious, boy. These coves really seem to have a good concentration of fish in them. Just fishing along a spinnerbait or a jig seems to be pretty productive. Caught several fish out of this little bay here. I think that there's several of these up this river just that look almost identical, and I think you can just run this same pattern from cove to cove to cove, and it's proved to be pretty productive.
Hank Parker's Outdoor Magazine will continue in a moment.
Ron, this is the only lure that'll catch fish on this lake. I got half of mine not to let you fish it because you don't have extra strong trilene on that reel. Don't lose it.
The only place this lure is going is down a big old hog's throat. Uh-oh.
Doggone it, Ron, I'm going to show you why you need trilene. It's up to 20% stronger. It's the line the tournament pros use, and it's the line that set 400 world records in just 12 months.
Well, it's a beautiful little bay here. I think this is an appropriate place to end our fish hunt. I hope you enjoyed our fish hunt today as much as I did. I think it was pretty favorable. We started out, the weather looked good this morning, and the front blew through and things got pretty tough at times, but all in all, I think it went well. We got to catch some spotted bass. We got to catch some pretty smallmouth. We got to catch some good largemouth as well. So I think it was a good fish hunt. And I think anytime you're on a strange lake or on a lake for the first time in a long time, if you'll look for a lot of the things that we did today, you may find that it'll be favorable for you. Hey, thanks for being with me today. God bless you. I'm Hank Parker.
Hank Parker's Outdoor Magazine, sponsored by Fish Formula. We fool Mother Nature. Humminbird Depth Sounders. Minn Kota, quiet power catches fish. Ranger Boats, we still build them one at a time. Ryobi, there's never been a better reason to go fishing. And by Trilene, extra strong.
The house needs painting, the grass needs mowing. Where's he at?
Hank, this is Tom. You told me to call you when they're biting. They're biting.
Gone fishing.